Have you ever put on a record, sat back with a cold beer, and thought to yourself, man, they just don't make albums like this anymore? If you have, you're in the right place. Welcome to Drinkin Vinyl, the show where we crack open a cold one, spin some records, and talk about the albums, artists, and music that keeps us coming back for more. I'm your host, Chris, and whether you're a lifelong vinyl collector, somebody who just bought their first turntable, or you're simply here because you love great music, I'm glad you're here. Tonight's beer of choice, Busch Light. Not because it's fancy, not because it's expensive. No, 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 no. Not because some beer expert told me it has notes of oak, leather, and the tears of ancient monks. Nope. It's because it tastes good cold and leaves more money for records. And if you've ever looked at the price of vinyl lately, you know we're going to need all the help we can get. So before we start talking about records, let me tell you why I wanted to start this channel. Like a lot of people, I grew up loving music. Music was always there on the good days, bad days, road trips, breakups, celebrations. Music somehow manages to soundtrack our lives. But somewhere along the way, listening became different. Streaming made music easier than ever to access. Millions of songs in your pockets, unlimited playlists, infinite choices. And somehow, I found myself listening less. Not less often, just less deeply. I'd put on a playlist and half pay attention, skip songs, jump around. I'd never really sit with an album. Then I got back into vinyl, and everything changed. That's refreshing. Now, don't worry. This isn't one of those videos where I tell you vinyl sounds better than everything else, and if you're not listening through a $10,000 stereo system, you're doing it wrong. That's not what this channel is about. What I love about vinyl isn't perfection, it's the experience. Think about it. When you buy a record, you actually commit to it. You pull it off the shelf, take it out of the sleeve, set it on the turntable, drop the needle, sit down, and listen. There's a ritual to it. It's intentional. You aren't just consuming music, you're experiencing it. You hold the artwork, you read the liner notes, you stare at the album cover while the music plays. You give the album your attention. And that's something I think we've lost a little bit over the years. Now, everybody remembers their first record, or at least the first record that really hooked them. For me, it was Moving Pictures by Rush, but that's a story for another time. Vinyl collecting wasn't about finding the rarest pressing or spending a fortune. It was about reconnecting with albums I loved, albums that meant something, albums that I could listen to from beginning to end. Not just the hit song, the entire experience. Because the truth is, some albums are meant to be heard all the way through. Side 1, side 2. No skipping, no distractions, just music. One thing you'll notice on this channel is that we're going to focus on albums, not just the songs, albums. Because great albums tell stories. Think about some of the greatest records ever made. The artist isn't giving you a collection of songs. They're taking you somewhere. They're creating a mood, a feeling, a journey. The first track introduces you. The middle track builds momentum. The closer leaves you with something to think about. That's why some albums become legendary. Not because they have one great song, because the whole thing works together. Now, let's talk about the other half of this show's title, the drinking part. Because I know somebody's already typing in the comments section, why beer? Well, why not? Music and beer have been hanging out together for generations. Whether it's a garage band, a backyard barbecue, a concert parking lot, or sitting in your basement listening to records, the combination just works. Now, am I going to pretend Busch Light is some rare craft beer? Absolutely not. Busch Light knows exactly what it is. And honestly, I respect that. It's dependable, it's affordable, and much like a lot of my favorite albums, it gets the job done every single time. What can we expect from future episodes? A little bit of everything, honestly. We're going to talk about classic rock, heavy metal, progressive rock, live albums, underrated records, overrated records, albums everybody loves, and albums everybody hates, and maybe even a few guilty pleasures. Actually, there's no guilt here. If you love an album, own it. Life's too short to apologize for your music taste. I'll say it again. Life is too short to apologize for your music taste. One thing I want to make clear right now, this channel isn't about being the smartest guy in the room. I'm not here to tell you what you're allowed to like. Music is personal. What moves me, it might not move you. What you think is a masterpiece, somebody else might think is trash. You know what? That's okay. Half of the fun of music is arguing about it. In fact, if we all agreed on everything, this channel would be pretty boring. Now, what I'm really hoping to build here is a community. A place where music fans can come together and talk records, share opinions, discover new albums, revisit old favorites, and maybe even convince each other to give something another chance. Because some of my favorite albums today are records I didn't appreciate the first time around. And that will be coming in a later episode as well. Cheers. So that's the story behind Drinkin Vinyl. A guy, a turntable, a stack of records, a cold Busch Light, and a passion for great music. Nothing complicated, nothing fancy, just celebrating albums that deserve to be heard. If you've enjoyed hanging out with me today, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments. What's the album that made you fall in love with music? What's spinning on your turntable right now? I want to know. And honestly, what record should we feature next on Drinkin Vinyl? My beer is empty. So until next time, keep the beer cold, keep the needle clean, keep the vinyl spinning, and remember, life's too short for bad music.